If your hands have been shaking, trembling, or feeling weak lately, and you're over 60, you're going to want to pay very close attention to what I'm about to share with you. Because there's a simple hand move, one taught by Japan's oldest practicing doctor, that many seniors say helps calm, shaky hands, improve control, and even boost grip strength over time. And the surprising thing is, it takes less than a minute. But before I show you exactly how to do it, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself holding a cup of tea without worrying if your fingers will tremble. Picture writing your name without that annoying wiggle in your hand. Picture buttoning your shirt or picking up a glass without the fear of dropping it. If that sounds like something you want, then stay with me, because this technique might just become part of your daily routine. The Japanese hand reset technique is rooted in simple movements that work with the natural mechanics of the hand, and that's what makes it so effective for people over 60 who struggle with shaking, stiffness, or weakness. As we age, the small muscles in the hands begin to lose strength and coordination, which makes everyday tasks feel more difficult. This decline happens slowly, and because it's so gradual, most people don't notice the changes until the shaking becomes visible or the grip becomes noticeably weaker. What makes this technique powerful is that it focuses on the areas most affected by aging of those tiny stabilizer muscles and the tension that builds up around the thumb and fingers. When these muscles don't get regular activation, they become stiff, underused, and unable to properly stabilize the hand during movement. That's when shaking tends to appear or worsen. The hand reset technique takes less than a minute, but it directly targets these problem areas by encouraging relaxation, improving blood flow, and reactivating the muscles that help keep the hand steady. The first thing this technique does is reduce tension. Many people don't realize how much stress they carry in their hands throughout the day. Every time you grip a bag, tighten a jar, use your phone, or even sleep with your hands curled, you build tension in the muscles and tendons. Over time, this accumulated tightness can interfere with your hand's ability to move smoothly. When you massage the base of your thumb or the spaces between your fingers, you release that stored tension. As the muscles loosen, the hand moves more freely and responds more accurately to the brain's signals. This relaxation effect is especially important because tension and shaking often go hand in hand. The more tense your hands feel, the more the trembling increases. By easing the tightness first, you create the right environment for steadier movement. Another key effect of the technique is improved blood flow. When you massage the hand, open the fingers, and gently move the wrist, you stimulate circulation. Better blood flow means the muscles receive more oxygen and nutrients, which helps them function more efficiently. Poor circulation is common in older adults, and it can contribute to cold fingers, stiffness, and reduced control. When the hand becomes warmer and more flexible, the shaking often decreases. People who try this technique frequently report feeling warmth spreading through their fingers, which is a sign that the blood flow is improving. This alone helps calm the hand and reduce tremors, because muscles perform better when they're properly supplied with blood. Finally, the technique activates the small stabilizer muscles that are crucial for hand control. These small muscles, located between the fingers and around the thumb, help guide precise movements. They're the first to weaken with age, and the hardest to notice until they begin affecting daily tasks. When you press your fingertips together and flick them open, or gently open and close your hand during the massage, you're waking those stabilizer muscles up. Over time, this activation helps retrain the hand to respond more steadily. It doesn't take force or heavy exercise, just slow, consistent movement. As these stabilizers strengthen, the hand becomes naturally steadier, and everyday activities like holding a cup or writing become easier and more controlled. Massaging the specific pressure points around the thumb and between the fingers works in a deeper and more meaningful way than most people realize, especially for seniors who experience shaky hands, tension, or weakness. These areas are not just simple muscles, they are connected to dense networks of nerves, tendons, and small stabilizer muscles that control the fine movements of the hand. As people age, these areas tend to accumulate stiffness and tension from years of repetitive daily tasks. This tightness often goes unnoticed until it starts affecting hand control. By gently massaging these points, you're essentially releasing the knots and restrictions that have built up over time, giving the hand a chance to move more freely and with less resistance. When the muscles and tendons are no longer bound by tension, the hand naturally becomes more coordinated, which often leads to a noticeable reduction in shaking. The pressure point between the thumb and index finger is one of the most important areas to massage because it's where a lot of gripping force originates. Over the years, this spot can become extremely tight, especially for people who use their hands frequently for tasks like cooking, gardening, or writing. When this area becomes stiff, the brain has to work harder to control the hand, and the muscles struggle to respond quickly and accurately. By massaging this spot, you relax the underlying tissues and allow the nerves to send clearer signals to the hand. This improved communication between the brain and the muscles results in steadier movements. Even people who don't believe in acupressure often feel immediate relief, simply because the tension releases and the muscles soften. Massaging the groove between the index and middle finger plays a similar role. This area is closely linked to the muscles that support fine motor control, things like holding a pen, buttoning a shirt, or lifting a cup. As these small muscles weaken or tighten with age, the hand loses its ability to perform precise movements smoothly. By applying gentle pressure and circular motion to this spot, you relax these supporting muscles and restore flexibility. Once the muscles regain their natural elasticity, the fingers move more gracefully and less shakily. Many seniors notice that after massaging these points, their hands feel lighter, which is simply the sensation of tension leaving the muscles. Another important part of why this massage helps reduce shaking is its effect on nerve communication. Aging often slows down nerve responses, and tension around the hand compresses nerves even more. When nerves are compressed, their signals become less accurate, leading to jittery, uncontrolled hand movements. By massaging the pressure points around the thumb and fingers, you loosen the surrounding tissues, which allows the nerves to function more efficiently. Better nerve function means smoother, more controlled movements. This is why so many people feel a calming effect after just a minute or two of gentle hand massage. The nerves finally have room to transmit signals clearly again. When these pressure points are stimulated, the brain also receives sensory feedback that helps recalibrate the hand. This feedback loop reminds the hand how to move in a controlled, coordinated way. Even though the massage feels simple, it's sending powerful messages through the nervous system that help stabilize the hand. With consistent practice, this can lead to long-term improvements in steadiness and grip strength because the muscles and nerves begin working together more effectively. Over time, this practice becomes a natural way to maintain hand health, reduce shaking, and improve daily function. The fingertip press and flick movement may seem incredibly simple at first glance, but it plays a powerful role in strengthening the tiny muscles and tendons that are responsible for steadiness and control in the hands. These small muscles, often called stabilizer muscles, are the first to weaken as we age because they are rarely worked intentionally. Most people rely on the larger muscles of the forearm for gripping, lifting, and holding objects, but the stability itself, the smoothness, the precision, the lack of shaking comes from the fine muscles inside the hand. When those muscles weaken, the hand struggles to stay steady, and even basic tasks like writing, holding a spoon, or tapping a phone screen can feel unsteady. What makes the fingertip press and flick technique so valuable is that it directly targets these small muscles without requiring heavy exercise, equipment, or strain. When you press your fingertips together firmly, the muscles located between your fingers are activated all at once. These interosseous muscles are essential for keeping the fingers aligned and stable during movement. Pressing the fingertips together forces these muscles to contract in unison, something that rarely happens during normal daily activities. This contraction builds strength gently but effectively. The movement is small, but the impact is meaningful because it trains the hand to create even controlled pressure. Over time, this pressure translates into better control during tasks that require precision. For someone who has struggled with shaky hands, even small improvements in these stabilizers can feel dramatic. The flicking motion that follows the press is equally important. When you flick your fingers open, you stretch the tendons that run along the top of the hand and fingers. These tendons can become tight or sluggish with age, limiting the range of motion and reducing responsiveness. Flicking the fingers encourages them to move with more speed and fluidity. This sharp, quick motion helps reawaken nerve pathways that may have become slow or underused. It's almost like telling the fingers, "Wake up, move, react." This combination of strengthening and stretching helps restore balance to the hand, creating a smoother, less shaky movement pattern. Another reason the fingertip press and flick works so well is that it coordinates both sides of the hand at once. The flexor muscles, which close the hand, and the extensor muscles, which open the hand, are activated back and forth through this motion. As people age, these two groups of muscles often become imbalanced. One might be stronger or tighter than the other. This imbalance can contribute to trembling because the muscles are not working harmoniously. By pressing the fingertips together, you strengthen the closing muscles. By flicking open, you work the opening muscles. This creates a more balanced strength pattern, which naturally reduces shaking. There's also a neurological benefit. When you press your fingertips together, you stimulate sensory nerves in the fingertips. These nerves send signals to the brain that improve awareness of hand position and movement, a concept sometimes called proprioception. Many older adults lose some of this awareness, making the hands feel clumsy or shaky. The fingertip press restores that sensory feedback, helping the brain reconnect more clearly with the hand. When followed by the flick, the brain learns to coordinate quick, controlled motion again. This small action builds better brain-muscle communication, which is one of the most overlooked parts of reducing hand shakiness. Consistency with this movement creates meaningful change. Even spending 30 seconds a day repeating this pattern strengthens the stabilizer muscles, increases tendon flexibility, and improves overall control. It doesn't require force or effort. It simply requires repetition. People who do this regularly often notice that everyday tasks become easier, their hands feel more responsive, and the shaking becomes less noticeable. This technique taps into the natural ability of the body to adapt and strengthen even later in life. Slow breathing combined with gentle hand movements creates a powerful calming effect on the entire nervous system. And this connection is often overlooked when it comes to understanding why hands shake more as people age. Many seniors notice their hands tremble more when they feel stressed, anxious, tired, or rushed. This is because stress and shallow breathing activate the body's fight or flight response, tightening the muscles and overstimulating the nerves that control fine motor movement. When the body is in this heightened state, even simple tasks like holding a cup or writing a note can feel shaky and unstable. Slow breathing works like a reset button for the nervous system. It signals the body to shift from tension to relaxation, from stress to calmness, and from jittery movement to steady control. When slow breathing is paired with gentle hand exercises, the calming effect becomes even stronger because the brain receives signals from both the breath and the muscles saying, relax, loosen, steady. Gentle hand movements also release physical tension stored in the fingers, palms, and wrists. Tension builds up silently throughout the day. Every grip, every twist, every stressed moment leaves a bit of tightness behind. Over weeks and months, that tension stiffens the muscles and tendons, making the hands feel less responsive and more prone to shaking. When you combine slow breathing with movements like opening and closing the fingers, massaging the thumbs, or rotating the wrists, You help melt away this built-up tension. The breath slows the nervous system down, and the movements allow the muscles to soften. As the muscles soften, the shaking naturally reduces because the hand is no longer fighting against stiffness. Another reason this combination works is that slow breathing increases oxygen flow to the muscles and nerves. Oxygen is essential for smooth, controlled movement. When a person breathes shallowly, which is common when stressed or rushing, the hands receive less oxygen. Low oxygen makes the muscles weaker and the nerves more reactive, which increases shakiness. Deep, slow breathing brings more oxygen into the bloodstream and sends it to the hands, making the muscles feel more awake, more coordinated, and less shaky. Even just a few minutes of intentional breathing can warm the hands, which is a sign of improved circulation. Warmer hands move more easily and shake less because the tissues are flexible, nourished, and ready to function. Slow breathing also reduces something called neural noise. Neural noise is when the brain sends jittery or inconsistent signals to the muscles, often caused by stress, fatigue, or aging. This noise creates shaky movements because the hand doesn't receive clear instructions. But when breathing slows, the nervous system becomes more stable. The signals become smoother and more consistent, allowing the hand to respond more accurately. When you combine this smoother nerve communication with gentle hand movements that stretch and activate the muscles, the hands become steadier because both the brain and the muscles are working in harmony again. What many people don't realize is that the simple act of focusing on the breath can improve hand control. When breathing slows, the mind becomes more focused and tension drains from the body. This mental calmness helps reduce the anxiety that often makes shaking worse. Many seniors notice that when they're relaxed, their hands shake less, and when they worry about the shaking, it actually increases. Slow breathing interrupts this cycle. Adding gentle movement reinforces this calming effect because it gives the hands something smooth and controlled to focus on. This combination creates a feedback loop of relaxation. Calm breath leads to calm muscles lead to calmer nerves, and calmer nerves lead to steadier hands. Over time, practicing slow breathing with gentle hand exercises builds a natural habit of relaxation in the body. It teaches the nervous system not to overreact to small stresses and trains the muscles to move smoothly even in moments of tension. This is why seniors who use this method regularly often notice a gradual reduction in hand shakiness. The body becomes better at managing stress, the muscles become more flexible, and the nerves communicate more clearly. It's a simple practice, but the effects reach deep into the body's natural systems of movement and control. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in improving hand control, especially for seniors who experience shaking, stiffness, or weakness. The hand reset technique works not because it is complicated or intense, but because it gently trains the hand's muscles, tendons, and nerves through repeated practice. When the technique is done daily, even for just a minute or two, the hand gradually becomes more responsive and stable. Many people underestimate how quickly the muscles inside the hand lose strength as they age, and how much regular activation can reverse that decline. Just like brushing your teeth keeps them healthy, or taking a short walk every day keeps your legs strong, practicing this simple hand movement consistently helps restore coordination and steadiness that may have faded over the years. One of the reasons daily practice is so effective is that shaking often comes from a combination of muscle weakness and nerve sluggishness. When the hand doesn't move much throughout the day, the small stabilizer muscles become inactive. They aren't used enough to stay strong, and the nerves that control them become slow or imprecise. By repeating the fingertip press, hand massage, and gentle stretching every day, you reawaken these muscles and teach them to activate smoothly again. Over time, this regular activation strengthens the muscles that keep the hand steady, which is something occasional or random practice simply can't do. The body responds best to repetition. When the hand performs the same healthy movements daily, it learns to hold itself with more stability, and slowly, the shaking fades or becomes noticeably less frequent. Another reason consistency matters is that daily movement helps maintain and improve blood circulation. Good circulation is essential for steady hands because blood carries oxygen and nutrients that keep the muscles strong, flexible, and ready to work. As people age, circulation often slows, especially in the hands. When the hands receive less blood flow, they can feel stiff, cold, or shaky. Daily practice encourages warm, flexible fingers by stimulating blood flow to the entire hand. Doing the technique every day creates a pattern where the hand repeatedly receives fresh circulation. This leads to better muscle function, better nerve communication, and a more balanced level of tension. The more often blood flow is stimulated, the more natural and efficient it becomes, which supports overall steadiness. Daily practice also helps calm the nerves. Many people don't realize how much the nervous system influences shaking. Stress, worry, lack of sleep, and even small moments of frustration can overstimulate the nerves and make the hands tremble more. Gentle daily exercises like the hand reset act as a signal to the nervous system, teaching it that the hands can move calmly and with control. When you practice slowly and consistently, the brain begins to associate these movements with relaxation and stability. Over weeks and months, this becomes a habit within the body. The nerves learn not to overreact, and the shaking gradually reduces. Consistency helps the brain form this new pattern of calmness, replacing the old pattern of tension and jittery responses. Another important benefit of daily practice is the improvement of confidence. Many seniors feel discouraged when their hands shake, and that worry actually makes the shaking worse. The more they notice it, the more they fear dropping things or appearing shaky in front of others. But when you practice this technique every day, you start noticing small improvements, fingers feeling warmer, movements feeling smoother, the shaking appearing less often or less intensely. These small wins build confidence, and as confidence grows, tension decreases. This reduction in tension leads to even greater steadiness over time. It becomes a positive cycle. Consistent practice improves stability, improved stability builds confidence, and increased confidence reduces shaking even further. Even better, this technique fits easily into a daily routine. It doesn't require equipment, it doesn't cause strain, and it doesn't take long. Some people do it in the morning to warm up the hands for the day, while others practice it in the evening to relax the muscles before bed. The important part is repetition. The more often the hands are gently activated, the stronger and steadier they become. Seniors who stick with this daily routine often notice improvements within a few days, and even more noticeable results after a few weeks. Their hands feel more controlled, their grip becomes stronger, and tasks that once felt difficult become easier again. Over time, consistency transforms this simple hand technique from a quick exercise into a powerful tool for long-term hand health. It becomes part of a routine that supports stability, strength, and confidence. Even small improvements can make a meaningful difference in daily life, and those improvements come from showing up for just a minute or two each day, allowing the hands to relearn the steady rhythm they once had.